Are you after a work van that has lots of features and a big back end? Well, the Hyundai Staria Load could be the right van for you. Stay tuned and you'll find out. G'day, I'm Matt. This channel is called The Right Car, where I help you find the right vehicle for your needs. This could be it. It's the new Staria Load Premium. It's had a glow up, whatever that means, and it's got a bunch of new flashy features. But should you spend the extra money to get the premium version? Stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all about it and the other versions in this review. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit like and subscribe. It helps a lot. And have your say in the comments section below. I'd love to know what you're thinking. The Hyundai Staria Load is a pretty affordable van, but it's not necessarily as budget focused as the old iLoad was. Even so, there are a couple of options for you to choose from. The entry-level version starts at just over 46,000 bucks, and it comes with some of the stuff that you would expect in this day and age, including a full array of safety technology, which I'll tell you more about later on. But it's also got twin digital screens with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's got halogen lights, steel wheels, you get twin sliding side doors, and the choice of either barn doors at the back, which Hyundai calls twin swing doors, or a tailgate. If you choose the one with the tailgate, you get a surround view camera system, but if you choose the barn doors, you get a reversing camera. There's also a crew van option, which adds a second row of seats and glazing on the sliding side doors as well. And then there's this one, which is the newbie. It's the premium model. It costs a fair bit more, but you get a fair bit more for your money, including LED lighting, this LED daytime running light strip, and LED headlights, which is nice to see. Inside you get some different stuff too, bigger touchscreen and driver info screens as well, plus a few extras here and there that make it feel like you're getting a more premium van experience. However, one thing you need to know with this spec, it only comes with a tailgate. You can't get it with barn doors. So if you are someone who wants a premium van and you want to have the practicality of barn doors as well, you're out of luck. I've driven every single van on the market in this size bracket, and this is one of the better ones, but there are a few really good alternatives. One of them, I think the best one, is the Toyota HiAce. It's available with a 2.8 litre turbo diesel engine as standard. It's got more torque than this as standard, and it has a few different options available, including a high roof version, and it's also got a commuter, so you can get it as a bus if you need lots and lots of seats. Obviously there is a Staria people mover, but the commuter has lots of seats. Now it might be right for you, and it is a Toyota, so the wait list could be long, so that might play into your decision. Another really good option is the Ford Transit Custom. It's a fantastic van. It's got a really punchy engine. There's two different lengths available if you want a short or long wheelbase, and it's got lots of safety tech, just like the HiAce and just like this vehicle right here. And finally, the one you should choose if you really want to tailor-make your van or cab chassis to your needs is the Volkswagen Transporter. Yes, it's getting on, and yes, there's a replacement model coming soon, but no other van on the market in this segment has as many choices available to you. So you've got single cab chassis, dual cab chassis, or van with low roof, high roof, medium roof, long wheelbase, short wheelbase. There's a bunch of different engine options too. So if you want a specific van tailored to your needs, then you should be choosing a Volkswagen Transporter. The Staria Load is classified as a medium-sized van, but it's not small, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's 5.2 meters long and about 2 meters wide and almost 2 meters tall. So if you are encountering lots of car parks and underground parking lots, then that could be a consideration for you. Now, the thing you need to know about it is that it's a one-size-fits-all proposition. There are no different body lengths or body heights that you can choose for this vehicle, so that might rule it out for you. But you do get, as standard, a pair of side sliding doors, which is always good to have. And as you can see, the cargo area is massive. I'm going to give you the perspective from the back because there's actually something interesting at the back of this premium model. Being the premium model, this one comes with an electric tailgate, which is novel for a van, but as you can see, it's actually really big. And also takes a fair while to go up. So if you are one of those people who delivery drives for a living and that takes a fair while every time you're loading in and out, it could be an issue for you. Also, you're not going to really fit a forklift under here unless it's one of those really short ones if you are planning to load in really big heavy loads. Now, speaking of heavy loads, I'm going to put some details on your screen now that explain the payload for each of the different variants in this model range, and also the dimensions of the cargo area, because just seeing it, you can't really tell how big it is, but if I show you the numbers, you'll be able to judge whether it's right for you or not. Now, it does have quite a high load-in level, so that's because this platform is designed for all-wheel drive as well as front-wheel drive like this van is, and there's a spare wheel underneath the floor there as well. Just take note, yeah, it is a little bit higher than some of the other vans out there. What do you reckon? The interior of the Hyundai Staria Load Premium does feel more premium than the regular versions, and that comes down to these screens, 10.25-inch screens. There's two of them. You've got the multimedia screen here with all your infotainment and stuff. Then on this side, you've got a fully digital display for the driver. The lower grade versions have digital displays as well, but this one's got more functionality to it, including the fact that it has the blind spot camera view system. So there are cameras in the mirrors that will keep an eye on what's happening behind you, and they show up when you indicate on this little screen in front of you. It just makes it a little bit safer when you're driving in town. This car is, well, this van is very large, and it does have big blind spots. So all the safety tech that you can get is welcome. It's also got this premium steering wheel, very easy to understand these controls on the steering wheel as well. I like these sort of knurled finishes on the ends of the indicator and wiper stalks as well. Now, when it comes to this media screen, it is pretty easy to get your head around, although I don't love the fact that it doesn't have the actual physical buttons and dials, so it's just not as easy to come to grips with when you are driving, for instance. You have to plug in your phone for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in this spec because it's got sat-nav. That's one of those quirks that Hyundai hasn't figured out yet. Now, when it comes to storage, vans like these are amazing, and the Staria Load is no exception. You've got these overhead storage bins with elastic sections up here so things don't fall out. You've got a couple of storage bins on top of the dashboard, a cup holder up there. You've got a flip out cup holder here. You've got a wireless phone charger there. You've got a storage bin down here, and then you've got the door pockets, which there are 3 different levels of storage in the doors. So there's plenty of storage on offer. There is no center console bin here, and there's no armrest, which I think could be a bit annoying. If you do spend a lot of time in your van, then you might miss having somewhere to rest your arm. So that might be something that you want to keep in mind. Yeah, and also that's a massive storage area just there between the seats too. There is no bench seat available in the Staria Load, so that might also play into your decision-making process. You can get bench seats in some of the other models out there. Now, I don't need to show you the back because there's nothing to show you. So that's it. The Hyundai Staria Load comes with a 2.2 litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine as standard across the entire model range. It's got pretty punchy power and torque levels, but not as punchy as, say, a Toyota HiAce or some versions of the Volkswagen Transporter range. Now, it comes as standard with an 8-speed automatic transmission and front-wheel drive, but if you need all-wheel drive, here's a hack for you. Maybe consider buying a Hyundai Staria People Mover and ripping out the rear seats. Then you'll have all-wheel drive and this excellent diesel engine. Now, if you are a business buyer, you should note that it doesn't have AdBlue, so it's not Euro 6 compliant, it's Euro 5. It does have a diesel particulate filter though. This van is not the most refined or comfortable van that you will get in this part of the market, especially if you're driving around without anything in the back for most of the time. Now, I understand that vans aren't supposed to be empty in the back, and that's why some of them have, well, slightly more assertive tuning for the rear suspension. The Staria Load is one such example. It is, well, pretty punishing when it doesn't have anything in the back, but when you do put weight in the back, as I have in previous tests, it does settle down nicely. However, if you are after a van that just offers a real level of easygoing, easy riding nature, well, there's other options out there which do offer that a little bit more convincingly than the Staria Load. The Volkswagen Transporter, for instance, or even the Renault Traffic, both of those have really good unladen rides. But like I said, you're probably buying a van like this so you can put stuff in the back, right? And I know that ride comfort isn't the be all and end all for a van driver. You just look at how many of those last generation Toyota HiAces they sold, and it was pretty evident that nobody cares about ride comfort if you're buying a van. They were terrible, by the way. These days vans are a lot more comfortable, a lot more amenable, and a lot more easygoing when it comes to the drive experience. This van, when it comes to the steering, is a particular highlight. It's super duper light, and it does have a relatively small turning circle for the size of this vehicle. What I mean by light steering is that it just doesn't take much effort to turn the wheel. And if you are professionally driving your van, if you're spending 8, 9 or 10 hours a day behind the wheel, then the less arm work that you do at the wheel, well, the less strenuous arm work, I guess, the better it's going to be for you. So what about this engine? It's fantastic. It's got plenty of pulling power, heaps of grunt, and even though it doesn't have as much as some of those other vehicles in the class that I already mentioned, I reckon it's got enough to do the job. And this 8-speed auto is an absolute treat. It does exactly what you'd expect when you'd expect it to. The shifts are really smooth, and it allows the engine to use the torque when it needs to as well. So it's not constantly chopping and changing gears, which some 8-speed autos can. Now, if I was buying a van like this and I didn't need to access the cargo area through the cabin, then I would definitely be investing in something more than a cage like this. I'd be buying a steel bulkhead or even a plastic bulkhead, which would make the cabin just feel a little bit more comfortable and secure. On that safety tech stuff, the blind spot view monitor, which shows up when you indicate here. So if I'm just turning at this intersection, I can see what's behind me in my blind spot on that side of the van. And if I indicate on that side, same thing. So that really does, I guess, allay any fears that you might have that you're not going to see everything that's around you. And it's so hard to not see everything around you if you are driving a big panel van like this. Remember, there's not that much visibility when you look over your shoulder. In fact, there's basically none. So if you are going to be spending a lot of time in your van, then maybe stepping up to the premium grade of the Staria Load is the best decision you can make. No matter which version of the Staria Load you choose, the official combined cycle fuel consumption figure is 7 litres per 100 kilometres. Now, you may achieve that if you do a lot of highway driving and if you aren't loading this van up to the hilt every single time you do that sort of driving. If, for example, you do a bit more urban driving and you do have weight on board, you're going to see something more towards 9.5 litres per 100 k's. And if you're wondering what I've seen during my week with this van, I didn't do any serious heavy load testing with it, but you'll see it on your screen now. And look, I reckon that's indicative of what most people could see if they drive gently. The Hyundai Staria Load has the maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating from 2021, but beyond that, it's aced the commercial van active safety technology test, and it scored the platinum rating in that test, and that's the first van ever to achieve that under the ANCAP protocols. So it is the safest van you can buy, at least on paper anyway. So it's got all the stuff you would expect: autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian and cyclist detection. There's also lane keeping assistance and blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and as I mentioned, a surround view camera if you buy the versions with the tailgate. If you buy the versions with the barn doors, then you get a reversing camera. Parking sensors are on there as well, and it's got all that gear that you would think would make it a safe van for you and your business. There's 7 airbags fitted, dual front side, a front center airbag, and curtain airbag coverage, whether you've got a second row seat or not. So yeah, ticks the box. One thing to note, if you are planning on buying the crew van to fit child seats in the back, ANCAP doesn't recommend that because there aren't any child seat attachment points fitted. So maybe if that's you, then you should be buying a Staria, not a Staria Load. You might know that Hyundai offers a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty across most of its models, but if you're choosing the Staria Load van, then you only get 5 years and 160,000 kilometres of warranty. So that might play into your decision-making process. It does have cap price servicing available, well, for a long time, the life of the car, and you can see on your screen now that there are some prepaid servicing options available as well. I'll also put the average price over 5 years of servicing. That's every 12 months or 15,000 Ks. Those are the intervals. So you're looking at 5 years, 75,000 Ks, and that is pretty affordable for a van like this. The other good thing about Hyundais is that they offer lifetime roadside assist if you make sure you service your car with the brand. Makes a lot of sense. Whether or not the Hyundai Staria Load is the right van for you will be determined by what you need from your work van. If you're okay with the one-size-fits-all approach, then this could be the right van for you. And I reckon that this top spec premium one does tick a lot of boxes if you don't need those barn doors at the back. But tell me what you reckon in the comments section below. Would you choose this, or would you buy a Staria and just rip out the back seats? That's what I'd do. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, please do hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.